We chase comfort relentlessly, believing it the ultimate human prize. We build gilded cages of convenience, mistaking them for genuine fortresses. Ultimately, the pursuit of perpetual comfort is a chase for an illusion, a gilded cage that restricts our truest potential. The Stoic wisdom, timeless and potent, reminds us that authentic strength, profound resilience, and lasting contentment are not found in avoiding life's inherent difficulties, but in consciously embracing them, transforming them into stepping stones for our own growth. What one discomfort, deliberately chosen, might you embrace today to begin forging your own path to strength? What if true contentment is found not in avoiding storms, but in the profound strength gained from weathering them courageously instead? The pursuit of constant pleasure, paradoxically, leads to deeper dissatisfaction, because joy without sorrow's contrast loses its vibrant, meaningful hue. Our ancestors understood this delicate balance, this necessary tension for growth. They knew that mountains are not climbed by staying in valleys, and that true strength is forged in the fires of adversity. This is not a call for needless suffering, but conscious cultivation. It is about choosing the path that builds, not merely coddles. But what if this perceived sanctuary is secretly eroding our foundations? To become unshakable, we must first learn to stand in winds. What if the greatest obstacle to your growth is your comfort zone? This boundary, designed for safety, often becomes a self-imposed prison. The philosophers of old warned against this deceptive ease vehemently. They taught that character is sculpted by the chisel of difficulty, not by the soft caress of perpetual, unchanging, soporific tranquility. Could it be that we have fundamentally misunderstood true well-being, mistaking fleeting pleasure for the deep satisfaction of earned resilience? The path to unyielding inner strength lies beyond familiar comforts. It demands courage to step into the arena of voluntary hardship. The softest beds can cultivate the weakest spirits, unprepared for life. This is the core of an ancient wisdom we must rediscover. The greatest enemy of your potential is not failure, but inaction. Inaction is often born from the paralyzing fear of discomfort. We seek refuge in the known, fearing the unknown's imagined pain. But growth only happens at the edge of our current capabilities. Embracing difficulty is not masochism, it is strategic self-mastery. The Stoics knew this. Comfort abused becomes a treacherous master. They offered a path to reclaim sovereignty over our inner citadel. A path paved not with ease, but with intentional chosen challenges. Are you ready to question your relationship with comfort itself? Our relentless avoidance of hardship might be our most dangerous indulgence. To discover the profound strength that lies dormant within waiting you. In our modern world, comfort has become an omnipresent deity, worshipped through countless conveniences and the relentless pursuit of ease. We are surrounded by technologies and lifestyles designed to shield us from every conceivable discomfort, from the slightest physical strain to the mildest psychological boredom. Yet, this gilded age of ease carries a hidden, insidious cost, one that ancient philosophers, particularly the Stoics, understood with stark clarity and profound insight. This relentless cushioning against life's sharper edges, this overprotection from strain and struggle, paradoxically cultivates a pervasive fragility. When we consistently choose the path of least resistance, our capacity to cope with inevitable adversity atrophies like an unused muscle. Minor inconveniences escalate into major stressors, and genuine crises can feel utterly overwhelming, shattering our carefully constructed cocoons of comfort and exposing a vulnerable, unprepared self. The Stoics observed that a life overly dedicated to avoiding pain and seeking pleasure is a life enslaved to externals. If our happiness depends on a constant, uninterrupted stream of comfortable experiences, we become puppets to fortune, easily disturbed by the slightest turbulence. True freedom, they argued, is internal. It is the robust, unshakable peace that comes from cultivating a resilient mind, capable of thriving regardless of external circumstances, comfortable or otherwise. Consider the tale of Musonius Rufus, a Stoic philosopher exiled to a barren island, Jaros. Instead of despairing at his loss of comfort and status, he viewed it as an opportunity for philosophical practice, stating, "If you have a manly nature, what hardship will there be in that?" He found ways to thrive, teaching and writing even in dire conditions. His example powerfully illustrates the Stoic ideal, that circumstances do not make the man, but rather reveal him. The pursuit of comfort often breeds fear, fear of losing it, fear of pain, fear of uncertainty. This fear constricts our lives, leading us to avoid challenges, shun new experiences, and shrink from our potential. We build smaller and smaller worlds to feel safe, but in doing so, we sacrifice growth, adventure, and the deep satisfaction that comes from overcoming significant obstacles. The comfort zone becomes a gilded cage, beautiful but ultimately limiting true human flourishing. The Stoics were not ascetics who rejected all pleasure or comfort. Rather, they advocated for a healthy detachment from them. Enjoy comforts when they are present, they advised, but do not become dependent on them. Do not let their absence disturb your inner peace. The goal was apatheia, not apathy as we understand it, but a state of serene equanimity, free from irrational passions and anxieties, achieved through reason and virtue. So, how do we begin to dismantle this tyranny of comfort and cultivate Stoic strength? One of the most potent practices is voluntary discomfort. This involves intentionally and regularly exposing ourselves to mild, controlled forms of hardship. This is not self-punishment, but rather a strategic training method for the mind and spirit, akin to an athlete training their body for a competition. It builds resilience and diminishes fear. Examples of voluntary discomfort can be simple yet profound. Taking cold showers, sleeping on the floor occasionally, fasting for a short period, deliberately choosing the harder task, or even just enduring minor irritations without complaint. Seneca, for instance, recommended periodically living as if impoverished, eating simple food and wearing basic clothes to realize that such states are not as terrible as feared, thereby reducing the fear of loss. The purpose of these exercises is not to become miserable, but to expand our discomfort zone, to recalibrate our baseline of what is tolerable. When we voluntarily face minor hardships, we discover our own capacity to endure. This builds confidence and diminishes the power that potential future discomforts hold over us. We become less fragile, more adaptable, and more appreciative of the comforts we do have when they are present. Is the cocoon of ease slowly suffocating our innate human potential? Another key Stoic practice is premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves regularly contemplating potential misfortunes, illness, loss, hardship, not to dwell on them morbidly, but to mentally prepare. By visualizing how we might cope with such events, we strip them of their terror. We rehearse our resilience, reminding ourselves of our inner resources and the transience of external goods, thus fortifying our minds against future shocks. The Stoics emphasize the dichotomy of control, a cornerstone of their philosophy. This principle teaches us to differentiate between what is within our power and what is not. External events, other people's actions, our health, to some extent our reputation, these are largely outside our direct control. Our own thoughts, judgments, desires, aversions, and actions, these are within our control. True peace comes from focusing our energy solely on the latter. When we obsess over things we cannot control, like whether people like us or if we will avoid all discomfort, we condemn ourselves to anxiety and frustration. Comfort-seeking is often a misguided attempt to control externals. The Stoic redirects this energy inward, to perfecting their character and responses. If it rains on your picnic, you cannot stop the rain, but you can choose your response: anger and despair, or acceptance and a search for alternative joy. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This isn't about suppressing emotions, but about understanding their origin in our judgments. If we judge an event as bad, we suffer. If we judge it as an external event to which we can respond virtuously, we maintain our equanimity. By practicing voluntary discomfort, we actively train our minds to make more resilient judgments. A cold shower is not terrible. It is merely a sensation. Missing a meal is not unbearable. It is an experience of hunger. By facing these willingly, we learn that our capacity to endure is far greater than our comfort-addicted minds believe. This builds an inner fortress against the unpredictable tides of fortune. This focus on inner response also redefines our relationship with failure. For the Stoic, there is no failure in external outcomes if one has acted virtuously and to the best of one's ability. The failure would be to act without integrity, to succumb to fear, or to abandon one's principles. The archer aims for the bulls, but their true success lies in the perfect execution of their shot, regardless of where the arrow lands due to an unforeseen gust of wind. The Stoics held that virtue is the sole good, not health, wealth, reputation, pleasure, or comfort. These are indifferents, preferred if available, but not essential for a good life, for eudaimonia or human flourishing. True happiness, robust and unshakable, comes from living a life of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. These virtues are entirely within our control, cultivated through our choices and actions, regardless of external fortune. When virtue is our guiding star, the allure of fleeting comforts diminishes. Why compromise integrity for a momentary pleasure or to avoid a temporary discomfort? The deep and abiding satisfaction of living a principled life far outweighs the superficial appeal of ease. This reorientation of values is crucial for breaking free from comfort's tyranny and building a life of genuine substance and meaning. This brings us to amor fati, the love of one's fate. This is perhaps the most challenging, yet most liberating Stoic concept. It means not just accepting, but embracing everything that happens, good or bad, as if we had chosen it ourselves. It's a radical acceptance of reality, seeing every event as an opportunity to practice virtue, to learn, to grow. It's finding the good in whatever unfolds, because we choose to make it so through our response. When we truly practice amor fati, the fear of discomfort or misfortune loses its grip. If we are committed to loving whatever happens, then no outcome is truly bad in the ultimate sense. It is merely another thread in the tapestry of our lives, a thread we can weave into something beautiful and strong through our virtuous response. Comfort becomes a pleasant visitor, not a necessary master. Hardship becomes a teacher, not an enemy. Consider the wild animal. Its strength is born from constant challenge. Embracing the Stoic path does not mean a life devoid of joy or ease. It means a life where joy is deeper, rooted in purpose and resilience, not fleeting sensation. It means ease is appreciated when present but not craved when absent. By strategically incorporating discomfort, by focusing on our inner responses, and by valuing virtue above all, we build an inner citadel that no external circumstance can truly breach. The modern obsession with comfort often creates a low tolerance for boredom or quiet contemplation. We seek constant stimulation, filling every spare moment with entertainment or distraction. The Stoics, however, valued solitude and reflection as essential for self-understanding and ethical development. Learning to sit with ourselves, without needing to escape into comfort or distraction, is a powerful form of voluntary discomfort that builds mental fortitude and clarity. Physical discomfort, too, can be a gateway to mental strength. Think of athletes pushing their bodies to the limit. It's not just about physical conditioning. It's about forging discipline, perseverance, and the ability to push through perceived limitations. The Stoics understood this connection. Epictetus, himself lame, taught that our bodies are tools, and enduring physical hardship without complaint strengthens the will, the ruling faculty of the mind. Consider the power of a simple daily routine that incorporates an element of chosen difficulty. Perhaps it's waking up early, regardless of how comfortable the bed feels, or committing to a challenging mental task before allowing oneself leisure. These small, consistent acts of choosing the harder path over the easier one accumulate over time, building a powerful habit of self-discipline and resilience that spills over into all areas of life. The fear of social discomfort also keeps us in cages. Fear of judgment, of saying the wrong thing, of standing out. Stoicism encourages us to act according to our principles, even if it invites disapproval. Practicing speaking truth, even when uncomfortable, or standing up for justice in small ways, builds moral courage. The discomfort is temporary. The strengthening of character is lasting. This is a form of voluntary discomfort with profound social implications. It is crucial to distinguish between chosen, purposeful discomfort that builds strength and an unthinking acceptance of harmful or oppressive conditions. Stoicism is not about passive resignation to injustice. It is about fortifying oneself internally to act more effectively and virtuously in the world, to change what can be changed, starting with oneself, and to endure with wisdom what cannot be immediately altered by one's direct actions. The modern world often equates self-care with indulgence and comfort. While rest and pleasure have their place, true self-care, from a Stoic perspective, involves the cultivation of one's character. It means doing the hard things that lead to long-term well-being and resilience, rather than always opting for the short-term fix of easy pleasure. It's caring for the soul, not just soothing the senses. By regularly practicing voluntary discomfort, we also cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude. When you have voluntarily experienced cold, warmth becomes a profound gift. When you have known hunger, a simple meal is a feast. The contrast sharpens our appreciation for what we often take for granted. This heightened gratitude is a powerful source of joy and contentment, far more stable than the pleasure derived from unbroken comfort. Think of your resilience as a muscle. If it's never stressed, it remains weak. If it's consistently and progressively challenged, it grows stronger. Each time you choose a harder path, endure a slight discomfort without complaint, or face a fear, you are doing a rep for your resilience muscle. Over time, you build an incredible capacity to handle life's inevitable major challenges with grace and fortitude. The beauty of the Stoic path is its accessibility. You don't need special equipment or exotic locations to practice voluntary discomfort. Opportunities are all around us, every day, in the small choices we make. Taking the stairs instead of the elevator, finishing a difficult task before relaxing, engaging in a challenging conversation instead of avoiding it. Each choice is a step towards inner strength. Now consider its domesticated counterpart, softened by predictable comfort and ease. Ultimately, the enemy is not comfort itself, but our enslavement to it, our fear of its absence. By understanding and applying Stoic principles, we can shift our relationship with comfort. It becomes a pleasant but non-essential aspect of life, while our true foundation of well-being is built upon the unshakable rock of our own virtuous character and inner resilience, forged in the fires of chosen challenges. The Stoic understanding of good and bad is radically different from conventional views. For them, things like health, wealth, pain, or poverty are indifferents. They are not intrinsically good or bad. The only true good is virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, temperance, and the only true bad is vice. How we use or respond to these indifferents is what matters, and that is where our virtue or vice is displayed. When we chase comfort as the ultimate good, we are chasing an indifferent. Its presence might be pleasant, but its absence shouldn't shatter our peace if our foundation is virtue. If you lose your wealth and indifferent, but maintain your integrity and courage, virtues, you have lost nothing of true value in Stoic terms. This perspective is profoundly liberating from the anxiety of gain and loss in the material world. This redefinition of good allows us to face discomfort not as an evil to be avoided at all costs, but as an indifferent that provides an opportunity to exercise virtue. A physical pain can be an opportunity to practice courage and endurance. A difficult person can be an opportunity to practice patience and justice. This reframing changes our entire experience of hardship, transforming obstacles into training grounds for character. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Just as physical training involves pushing past comfort to build muscle, mental and spiritual training involves pushing past emotional comfort to build character. Each act of facing fear, enduring frustration patiently, or choosing the principled over the easy path adds to our inner fortitude, making us less susceptible to the whims of fortune. This Stoic strength training isn't about becoming unfeeling or emotionless. It's about gaining mastery over our reactive emotions so they don't dictate our actions. Fear is natural, but courage is acting virtuously despite fear. Anger might arise, but temperance and justice guide our response. We feel, but we are not slaves to our feelings. We choose our actions based on reason and principle. When we prioritize comfort above all, our world shrinks. We avoid anything that might disrupt our ease. But a life lived fully requires venturing into the unknown, embracing challenges and risking discomfort. The Stoic, by diminishing the fear of discomfort, is free to live more boldly, to pursue meaningful goals, and to engage with the world more deeply, knowing they possess the inner resources to handle whatever comes. The temporary discomfort of a cold shower, a period of fasting, or a difficult conversation is a small price to pay for the immense reward of inner freedom and resilience. These practices are investments in our future selves, ensuring that when real adversity strikes, as it inevitably will, we are not found wanting, but are prepared, steadfast, and capable of navigating the storm with wisdom and grace. Think of the peace of mind that comes from knowing you can handle hardship. This isn't arrogance, it's a quiet confidence born from experience. When you no longer fear discomfort, you are liberated from 1,000 anxieties. You can make decisions based on your values, not your fears. This is the robust well-being the Stoics aimed for, not a fragile happiness dependent on perfect conditions, but an unshakable flourishing. So the next time you are faced with a choice between the comfortable, easy option and the slightly harder, more challenging one, pause and consider. Which path will build you? Which path will strengthen your character? Which path aligns with the kind of resilient, virtuous person you aspire to be? The answer, more often than not, lies just beyond the borders of your immediate comfort zone. The difference is not just physical, it is a measure of resilience. Embracing discomfort is not about seeking misery, but about unlocking a deeper, more resilient form of happiness. It's about trading the fleeting pleasures of ease for the lasting satisfaction of self-mastery and strength of character. It is, as the Stoics taught, a path to true freedom, freedom from fear, freedom from external dependencies, and freedom to live a life of profound meaning and purpose. The Stoic path requires consistent effort, a daily recommitment to these principles. It's not a one-time decision but a lifelong practice of mindful choices. Small acts of voluntary discomfort, practiced regularly, compound over time, building an unshakable inner citadel. This isn't about achieving a perfect, emotionless state, but about becoming a more resilient, virtuous, and ultimately, more human version of ourselves. Consider how much energy is spent avoiding relatively minor discomforts, waiting in line, enduring a slightly too hot or too cold room, listening to an opinion we disagree with. The Stoic learns to meet these small irritations with equanimity, using them as micro-opportunities to practice patience and emotional regulation. This conserves mental energy for more significant challenges and cultivates a baseline of inner calm. Our attachment to comfort often manifests as an intolerance for uncertainty. We crave predictability and control. Stoicism teaches us to embrace uncertainty as an inherent part of life, focusing instead on our capacity to respond well to whatever unfolds. Voluntary discomfort, by its nature, involves stepping into slightly unpredictable situations, thereby training our uncertainty muscle and reducing anxiety about the unknown future. The modern world often sells comfort as a prerequisite for happiness. Once I have X comfort or achieve Y state of ease, then I'll be happy. The Stoics reverse this. Cultivate inner virtue and resilience, and you will find a robust form of well-being eudaimonia that is not dependent on fleeting external comforts. Happiness becomes a byproduct of a well-lived, virtuous life, not its primary, comfort-dependent goal. This approach doesn't mean rejecting comforts when they are available and aligned with virtue. A Stoic can enjoy a good meal or a comfortable bed. The difference lies in attachment and dependency. They enjoy them without clinging to them, ready to relinquish them without distress if circumstances change. Their peace of mind is not hostage to the presence or absence of these preferred indifference. Overcoming the ingrained habit of comfort-seeking requires self-awareness. Notice the times you automatically shrink from discomfort, however small. Question the underlying fear or assumption. Is this discomfort truly harmful, or is it merely unfamiliar? Could there be growth on the other side of it? This internal dialogue is a key part of the Stoic practice. The path of least resistance is often the path of least growth. While comfort offers a temporary reprieve, it is the conscious engagement with challenge that sculpts a character capable of navigating life's complexities with wisdom and strength. The Stoics weren't anti-comfort. They were pro-strength, pro-resilience, and pro-virtue, understanding that these are often forged in the crucible of chosen difficulty. This journey of embracing discomfort is not about achieving perfection, but about progress. There will be days when comfort wins. The Stoic approach is to acknowledge this without harsh self-judgment and simply recommit to the practice. Each small step towards facing discomfort builds momentum and strengthens resolve for the next opportunity. It's a compassionate yet disciplined approach to self-improvement. Ultimately, a life overly cocooned in comfort becomes a shallow one, deprived of the rich textures and profound lessons that come from engaging with the full spectrum of human experience. By daring to step outside our comfort zones, by choosing growth over ease, we unlock not only inner strength but also a deeper appreciation for life itself, in all its beautiful, challenging complexity. An unburdened life devoid of trial often leads to inner fragility. The Stoic challenge, then, is not to fear comfort, but to fear a life unlived due to an excessive attachment to it. It is to consciously choose those discomforts that forge virtue, expand our capacities, and allow us to meet our fate, whatever it may be, with an unshakable core of inner peace and strength. This is the path to true eudaimonia, a flourishing life. When we consistently opt for comfort, we signal to our subconscious that we are incapable of handling distress. This erodes self-trust. Conversely, when we intentionally face and navigate manageable discomforts, we prove to ourselves that we are capable, adaptable, and resilient. This builds a profound and authentic self-confidence that is not reliant on external validation or material possessions. The modern promise of a life without friction is an illusion. Friction is necessary for movement, for growth, for the sharpening of our abilities. Just as a knife is honed against a stone, our character is honed against the abrasions of difficulty. To wish away all discomfort is to wish away the very conditions that allow us to become our strongest, most capable selves. Consider the long-term consequences of a comfort-centric life. A diminished capacity for joy, as constant pleasure dulls the senses. Increased anxiety, as any deviation from comfort becomes a threat. And a sense of unfulfillment, as deep satisfaction often comes from overcoming meaningful challenges, not from perpetual ease. The Stoic path offers an antidote to this modern malaise. Voluntary discomfort helps us appreciate the hedonic treadmill, the human tendency to quickly return to a relatively stable level of happiness, despite major positive or negative events or life changes. Constant comfort raises our baseline, so we need even more comfort to feel the same pleasure. Breaking this cycle with chosen hardship resets our appreciation and allows for more sustained contentment with simpler things. The strength gained from embracing discomfort is not aggressive or domineering. It is a quiet, internal fortitude. It's the strength of a deep-rooted tree that bends in the storm but does not break. Its resilience built over seasons of enduring, varied weather. This is the kind of strength that allows for true compassion and stability in a turbulent world. Our fear of discomfort is often far worse than the discomfort itself. The anticipation of pain can be more agonizing than its actual experience. Voluntary discomfort acts as exposure therapy, desensitizing us to these fears. By repeatedly facing manageable challenges, we learn that we can cope, that our fears were exaggerated, and that we are stronger than we thought. This path is not about a grim, joyless existence. On the contrary, by building inner resilience, we free ourselves to experience joy more fully and authentically. When our happiness isn't constantly threatened by the fear of discomfort, we can engage with life more openly, love more courageously, and pursue our passions with greater abandon, knowing we have the inner tools to navigate any outcome. The Stoic invitation is to become an active participant in the shaping of your own character, to see comfort not as a goal, but as a variable, to see hardship not as an enemy, but as a teacher and a tool. This shift in perspective is the key to unlocking a profound and enduring sense of strength, purpose, and peace in a world that often prioritizes fleeting ease over lasting substance. So the question remains not whether comfort is good or bad, but what role it plays in your life. Is it your master, dictating your choices and limiting your growth? Or is it a welcome guest, enjoyed when present, but not essential for your well-being and strength of character? The Stoic path offers the tools to ensure it is the latter, leading to a life of greater freedom and resilience.